If I hadn't lost my job that Tuesday morning, I probably never would have stepped foot outside Texas that summer. Funny how the worst day of your life can turn into the first step toward something you didn't even know you needed. I still remember the way the HR manager avoided eye contact when she handed me the papers. Just a generic office in downtown Dallas, fluorescent lights buzzing above, and me holding a cardboard box with my whole 5-year career stuffed inside. Laptop, a photo of my dog, 2 mugs, and a sticky note that said, "Don't forget to breathe." Yeah, ironic, right? Walking out of that glass building, I didn't feel angry. I felt empty, like the kind of silence you hear in a car when the radio cuts out. The world kept moving, traffic honking, people rushing to lunch. But for me, time froze. I went home to my small apartment, cracked open a beer at noon, and just stared at the ceiling fan spinning. My phone buzzed with texts. "You okay?" "Sorry, man. Layoffs are rough." I ignored them. The truth was, I wasn't okay. But I also wasn't ready to admit it. That night, lying awake, a thought kept repeating. If I stay here, I'm going to drown. So I did something crazy. By morning, I packed a bag, threw it in the trunk of my old Ford Focus, and decided, I'm driving east. No plan, no timeline, just the road. I left Dallas before sunrise. There's something healing about watching the city fade in your rearview mirror while the sky turns pink. Windows down, cool air rushing in, the hum of tires on asphalt. It felt like freedom. By noon, I crossed into Louisiana. Stopped at a gas station outside Shreveport where the lady behind the counter gave me a smile so warm it almost made me cry. "Baby, you look tired. You need a little pie?" she asked, pointing to a row of homemade pecan pies. I laughed, bought one, and ate it in the parking lot, sticky fingers and all. That's when it hit me. Every mile I drove, the layoff felt smaller, like the world was way bigger than that office I left behind. I kept driving, through pine forests and stretches of highway that seemed endless. My playlist jumped from Springsteen to old country, and I sang out loud with the windows open, like nobody was listening. Somewhere near Jackson, Mississippi, rain started pouring so hard I could barely see. I pulled under an overpass, headlights bouncing off the wet pavement. For a moment, I thought, what am I even doing out here? Then I noticed something. On the other side of the road, a guy about my age was standing by a motorcycle, soaked, trying to fix something under the seat. Without thinking, I grabbed my umbrella and ran over. "Need a hand?" I shouted over the rain. He looked up, surprised, water dripping from his beard. "Yeah, man, battery's dead." Of all nights. His name was Marcus, from Baton Rouge. He was heading to see his girlfriend in Memphis but got stranded. I offered him a ride, and just like that, my solo trip wasn't so solo anymore. We drove north together, 2 strangers swapping stories like old friends. Marcus told me about his job at a repair shop, his dream of opening his own garage someday. I admitted I just lost my job, and instead of pity, he just nodded and said, "Maybe that's the universe telling you to start fresh." By nightfall, we rolled into Memphis, Tennessee. Neon lights, music spilling from Beale Street, the smell of barbecue in the air. It was alive. Marcus insisted we stop at his cousin's bar. Best ribs in the city, I promise. Inside, it was loud and crowded. We squeezed into a booth, and before I knew it, I was eating ribs so tender they melted in my mouth. Marcus' cousin, a woman named Shauna, brought us beers and teased me. "Don't let this boy talk you into gambling. He's bad luck at cards." We laughed, ate, drank, and for the first time in months, I felt like I belonged somewhere. But then, late that night, as I was getting ready to leave the bar, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Don't trust him. Don't go further." I froze. Who was warning me? And about whom? I glanced at Marcus across the room, laughing with friends. My gut twisted. What had I just stepped into? I sat in that booth in Memphis, my phone still glowing with that strange text. "Don't trust him. Don't go further." My heart raced. I looked around the bar. No one seemed to be paying attention to me. Marcus was across the room, laughing with his cousin and a few guys who looked like regulars. Nothing about him screamed danger. He was just a biker with a big laugh and a good appetite. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling. Who sent that message? And what did "don't go further" even mean? I slipped the phone back in my pocket and tried to act normal. Shauna came over with another round of beers. "Y'all planning to hit the road tonight?" she asked. I shook my head. "Probably gonna find a cheap motel and crash." Marcus grinned. "Nah, man, stay at my cousin's. She's got a spare room. Safer than some roadside dump." I hesitated. My gut screamed at me to say no. But Shauna jumped in. "He's right. Those cheap motels? Bedbugs, thieves, you name it. Just crash at my place. No big deal." I agreed. Mostly because I didn't want to look paranoid. That night, lying in a guest bed with the smell of barbecue still on my clothes, I kept staring at my phone, scrolling back to that message. No name, no number I recognized. Just a warning floating in the dark. Before I drifted off, one thought haunted me. Was the wrong road already catching up with me? Morning sunlight poured through thin curtains. Marcus was already up, sipping coffee in the kitchen. "You sleep okay?" he asked. "Yeah." I lied. I didn't tell him about the text. We ate breakfast. Eggs, grits, bacon Shauna whipped up while humming old blues tunes. Then Marcus said, "Hey, change of plans. I'm not heading to my girlfriend's just yet. She's out of town. You want to ride with me up to Nashville? Big festival this weekend. Could be fun." Part of me wanted to go straight to my parents in Tennessee. That had been the plan. But another part thought, why not? I had no job, no deadlines, no one waiting. And something about the idea of Nashville's music scene called to me. So we hit the road again, Marcus now riding shotgun, blasting classic rock on my crappy speakers. The highway stretched endless and green, fields rolling past, the air heavy with summer heat. Hours in, we pulled into a gas station outside Jackson, Tennessee. While Marcus went inside, I checked my phone. Another message. Same number. "Turn back. This ends badly." Chills shot through me. I glanced up and saw Marcus through the glass doors, laughing with the cashier. He looked harmless, friendly even. But that message gnawed at me. Was someone messing with me? Or was it real? When Marcus came back with sodas, I shoved my phone away and forced a smile. "Ready." "Always," he said, and we drove on. But I couldn't stop replaying the words in my mind. "Turn back." By evening, we rolled into Nashville. The city was alive. Neon lights, honky-tonk bars spilling music onto the streets, crowds laughing and dancing. I'd been here as a kid with my parents, but this was different. It felt electric. Marcus dragged me straight to Broadway, where live bands blasted country rock from every corner. We squeezed into a bar so loud I could feel the bass in my chest. Marcus ordered whiskey shots. "To the road," he shouted, clinking glasses. We met people fast. Tourists, locals, musicians chasing dreams. At one point, a girl with a guitar case sat next to me and asked where I was from. Her name was Claire, and she had that kind of smile that makes you forget what you were about to say. She told me she was performing later at a small venue, and before I knew it, Marcus was nudging me. "Dude, go. Don't overthink it." Claire's set was raw, soulful. Songs about heartbreak and hope. I found myself leaning in, listening like the lyrics were written just for me. When she finished, I clapped so hard my hands stung. Afterward, she joined us outside, the humid night buzzing with cicadas and neon glow. "So what brings you here?" she asked. I almost laughed. Honestly, I lost my job, decided to just drive. Her eyes softened. Sometimes losing one thing is how you find what you're really looking for. We walked for an hour, Marcus trailing behind, chatting with strangers. Claire told me about chasing her music career, the nights she wanted to give up, the tiny victories that kept her going. There was something about her honesty. It made me want to be honest too. //////. For the first time, I told someone about the text messages. About the warning not to trust Marcus. Claire frowned. "That's creepy. You sure it's not just a prank?" I don't know, I admitted, but it's messing with my head. She glanced over at Marcus, who was laughing with a street performer. Be careful, she said quietly. Sometimes the wrong company feels right, until it's too late. Her words stuck with me the whole walk back to the motel. The motel room smelled like old carpet and stale cigarettes, the kind of place where you double-check the locks twice. Marcus was already half asleep on the other bed, shoes still on, snoring softly. I lay awake, staring at the cracked ceiling, my phone clutched in my hand. Every vibration made my heart jump. Sure enough, around midnight it buzzed. Same unknown number. He's not who you think. Leave before morning. I sat up, pulse pounding. Who was this? Why me? Why Marcus? I thought about waking him, demanding answers, but what if he had no clue? What if this was just some sick prank by someone else? Sleep never came. I kept thinking about Claire's warning, about the strange coincidence of meeting Marcus in that storm. Was it really chance? Or was I being pulled into something darker? At dawn, Marcus yawned, stretched and said, "Come on, man, breakfast." Then we hit the road. I know a spot outside town. I nodded, forcing a smile. Inside, though, a storm was brewing. We drove out of Nashville, the sun already hot, countryside rolling by. Marcus was in a good mood, telling stories about his younger days, laughing at his own jokes. But I barely heard him. I was replaying the texts over and over. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. "Marcus," I said, gripping the wheel tighter. "I need to ask you something. Has anyone been trying to contact me? Through you? Like, do you know anything about these messages I've been getting?" He frowned. "Messages? What messages?" I explained. The warnings, the unknown number, the words about not trusting him. His jaw tightened. For the first time, he didn't look amused. "Man, I don't know who's messing with you," he said slowly. "But I swear it ain't me. Look, if you don't trust me, just say so. I can get out right now." The way he said it, calm, almost wounded, made me pause. Was I paranoid? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed again. I pulled over onto the shoulder, hands shaking. "He's lying." I showed him the screen. "You see this? How do you explain this?" Marcus stared at it, then at me. "I don't know, man. But whoever it is, they want you to turn on me. And it's working." We sat in silence, cars rushing past. In that moment, I realized something. Whoever was sending those texts, their power was in the doubt they planted. And maybe that was the real danger. Not Marcus, not even the road, but the voice that made me question everything. I dropped Marcus off outside Louisville, Kentucky, at a diner where his girlfriend was supposed to meet him later. He shook my hand firmly. "For what it's worth," he said, "I hope you find what you're looking for. And I hope you stop letting ghosts on a phone screen scare you." I watched him walk away, leather jacket in the sun, until he disappeared through the glass doors. My phone stayed silent. No new messages. For the first time in days, quiet. I kept driving north, the road wide and open, fields stretching endlessly. Somewhere past the Ohio River, I finally turned the phone off. That night, I ended up in a small town I can't even remember the name of. A diner, a cheap bed, and me staring out at fireflies blinking in the dark. And I thought, maybe those messages were real. Maybe they were fake. Maybe they were some twisted prank or some strange piece of fate. But the truth? It didn't matter. What mattered was the choice I made. To keep going. To not let fear or doubt decide my road. Months later, when I finally settled down in a new city with a new job, I realized something. Losing my old life wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. And the people I met along the way, Marcus, Claire, even the mystery voice on the other end of those messages, they all pushed me toward it. So here's the lesson I carried with me. Sometimes the warnings, the doubts, the shadows, they're not there to stop you. They're there to test how badly you want to keep moving forward. And if you ever find yourself lost on some dark road, remember this. Maybe you're not lost at all. Maybe you're just on the way to finding who you really are.